Bienvenida, bienvenido, and Joaquin. I hope every one of you feels welcome. So, guys, guess what? I am back, and you will be surprised to know I am back with who? Smooch. Yes, we are doing our first official Cooking Up Conversations channel on our YouTube channel. We're doing the first one. I told you that we weren't going to do too many videos without doing one of those. So, stay tuned and keep watching. I'm about to go grab Smooch, and we're about to watch her do some cooking. Thanks. So I finally catch you. Okay, Smooch.
Catch me doing what?
Catch you doing what I've always said for many years. Cooking that strange food, that odd food, that stuff that I never knew or heard anything about. I finally got you. And it's funny because when I used to say that, it was always this that you're cooking today and one other thing, that parsnip. So tell the people, Smooch, what in the heck are you putting together today?
This is a spaghetti squash.
Spaghetti squash, okay.
Yes. And actually spaghetti squash is in the pumpkin family. To me, it really is the same as a pumpkin, but it has different taste to it.
So okay, you're about to prep it. Do you clean it first, or do you just bring it from the store and start cooking it? What do you do?
Personally, I always wash it off
Okay,
first.
so you wash it off first, okay.
Wash it off first. I put parchment paper down on top of my baking pan. I like to split mine all the way open. Some people just bake it just in the oven as a whole.
Okay.
And then they scoop out the inside after the fact.
So some people cook it first, then do the scooping.
Yes, it's just a personal preference. And
okay.
then also, just to know when you are if you decided to cut this open like this when you're cooking, be very careful because it's a slippery. The exterior of the spaghetti squash, it's almost like it's a waxy film to it. It's kind of slick.
Okay.
So when you want to cut open, make sure you are holding it so it don't slide over course so the knife doesn't
So
slide.
take precaution.
Oh, definitely.
Now, looking at it, it looks similar like a hard texture of like an avocado. I know avocado is more bumpy, that's more smooth, but is it similar, like the hardness and the toughness cutting into it? Is it similar?
No, this is a whole heck of a lot more.
Oh, so it's harder than, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
To me, it's a pumpkin.
A pumpkin.
It's a pumpkin.
Got it. So anybody that's ever worked with a pumpkin.
You know when you're cutting a pumpkin open, it's not easy to cut a pumpkin
Okay,
open.
so you pumpkin people or people who have children do the whole Halloween thing. If you know how tough it is cutting into a pumpkin, that is what Smooch is describing to you all. That cutting into it is hard like a pumpkin. Got it? Okay, good. So Smooch, does this thing have any type of nutritional value or anything like that?
Spaghetti squash is good. It's high in fiber. Again, if you know anything about pumpkin or butternut squash or just the whole squash family, they're high in fiber, and I like it because I am the type of person I don't really care too much. I love pasta, but as everybody knows, pasta is extremely heavy.
Right.
So to me, this is a substitute for us and those who want to have like that pasta type of dish without having the pasta.
Okay, so basically, people, what Smooch is telling you, she's like a health fanatic when it comes to eating. She's very particular and very healthy. So this is why this is one of those chosen foods for her. Okay, so now you've always told me I should try it. I'm like, yeah, maybe one day. I'm the picky eater. I eat like a 2-year-old. So she's always said she knows my taste bud and things that I like and what I'll take in and what I can't take in. So she always tells me that I should try it. She knows I will like it. I haven't gotten there yet, but as we see, it is taking her some time to get into this thing, y'all. So I'm glad you're watching. Anybody who does not know what spaghetti squash is, she's a pro with this. She's done this, I can't tell you how many times, but at the same time, you see the struggle is real. The struggle is real. So if you're really wondering when she just kind of spoke on how difficult it is to cut into it, you see what she's working with to get. She's about to break the knife, y'all, to get into it. All right, family. So she is working this thing out, getting into it. But again, you can tell this is worse than a watermelon. Good God.
Again, it's a personal preference of mine, and you have to be very careful because, of course, you don't want to next end up in the emergency room stabbing yourself.
Yeah, cutting off any limbs and stuff.
If you decide to split it open in the manner in which I'm doing, be very careful. And it might not be the smartest thing to have it sit on parchment paper. You might want to have it sit made on a dish towel with something that's going to keep it from
more
slipping
firm.
and sliding.
Okay.
But for video purposes, I've just got on my parchment paper already, and I'm being very careful. That's why it's taking me much longer.
Okay.
To actually get it open, but bear with me. I'm gonna get it open so I can let everyone that's not familiar with spaghetti squash see what I'm talking about when I say that it's in the pumpkin family.
Yeah, we're about to get to the prize, y'all. We're going to get to the inside of it here in a moment. But as promised, I told you all we weren't going to do too many videos without getting Smooch up in here doing one of these cooking up conversations videos. And so here we are, finally and officially the first one. So you gave us the nutritional value. You said it's kind of like pasta. Do you mean you said pasta is heavy? This isn't.
Yeah, when I say like pasta, not like the texture of pasta, which is pasta, of course, is flour and water. It's like anything. When you are a vegan or vegetarian, you like to have some of the good things like pasta without the eggs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So this is like a substitute.
Okay. Because, I mean, I'm not going to say too much because I want the people to see, I want our family to see for themselves what it looks like. I don't want to give too much away because to me, if you've never seen the inside of spaghetti squash, it's like a secret. It's like a whole surprise on the inside, okay? So, yeah, I'm not going to say much. I'm going to wait till you get to it. And she's almost there, guys. I can tell you she is almost there, family. Bam! All right. Okay, Smooch. So you officially got this thing open. Okay. We're going to go in a little bit closer, family. This is the inside of a spaghetti squash, but I'm going to let Smooch do the talking.
Well, this is what I was saying, how it's just the same type of inside as a pumpkin or even a butternut squash. So what we're going to do next, or what I'm going to do next, is scrape all of this out. And then we're going to, me personally, spray a little bit of cooking spray around the rim of it, put a little bit of seasoning on it, turn the face down, and we're going to bake for about 45 minutes.
All right, 45 minutes cook time, y'all. Let's get, do you see this thing, y'all? Look at that. That's spaghetti squash. It looks kind of weird to me. This is why I called it what I called it, family. I'm like, yeah, it's a strange food you be cooking, but she's a master of it, so we're going to let her do her thing. We're going to get on back over here. Oh,
Spread everything out.
Okay, so should I, well, we'll just kind of leave it going for a second here. And we'll figure it all out. Well, maybe I should just come in and go a little closer. Hold on just a second. So I decided to come and get a little close so we can see. This is the process of scraping it out. And scraping out is what, just getting the seeds and whatnot out, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And we're going to follow her to do the next one, y'all. We're going to catch her doing this second one. There we go. So this is what she's doing, focusing on getting all of that stuff out. So me, I'm thinking, well, that's what you cook and eat, right? She told me, mind your business. First time I ever saw her do this. Mind your business. I got this. Okay, so this is something. I'm sure there's somebody who does not know what spaghetti squash is like me. Like, yeah, this is strange. Yeah, we see why you called it strange destiny. Okay, we're going to get on back over here in our lane and let her continue to do her thing, y'all. Family. She is on the spaghetti squash course. Okay, so what is this process?
It's just another thing that's a purpose of mine. Some people brush it with butter. I just brush it, spray it down with a little bit of olive oil, Pam, or whichever you choose, olive oil, Pam. And I like to sprinkle a little bit of this type of seasoning.
Hold on, this ain't this type of seasoning. Let's talk about this seasoning for a minute. This is bomb. What is it called? We know it's all-purpose Greek seasoning, but let me
Cavender's.
Cavender's, y'all. This seasoning is
Greek seasoning.
Bomb.
So I like to sprinkle this a little bit on mine. Of course, just around the edges, just within the inside.
Oh, that seasoning is so good. We'll talk about that in another video, family. The seasoning is bomb.
And then I like to bake mine anywhere between 350 and 375 for like 40, 45 minutes, or depends on type of texture that you want it. I like mine to be a little bit firm because if you cook it too long, it gets soft.
So is that kind of like al dente with like a regular pasta?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then, y'all, we're just going to wrap this thing up. What she did before, you didn't see, but she did wash it off first. We saw the struggle is real of getting it cut into. Again, she's described much like a pumpkin. She scraped the insides out. So don't forget to scrape the insides out. I don't want to see y'all trying this at home and take it out and just cook everything, seeds and all.
And you can.
Oh, really?
You can cook it
like that.
And then scrape it out
afterwards.
Okay.
But that's not, the stuff you scraped out is not what you eat.
It is. Because
some people do eat it.
You don't want to eat the seeds, I'm saying, because it's the same thing that we're going to end up scraping out
Gotcha.
later once it gets done.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it depends on the preference how you want to cook it. If
Okay.
you want to split it open and then just cook it and then scrape everything out after the fact, I don't know if it makes it easier. I've never done it that way. I've only done it in a matter of
Okay. Well, that's what we're talking about. We're doing the smooches way today, family.
So now we're going to put this in the oven, let it bake about 40, probably not about 30 minutes first, and I'm going to test it to see what the type of the consistency is inside of the spaghetti squash. If it's to my liking, then I'll go ahead and pull it out. If not, then I'm going to let it bake for a little bit longer. So right now we're going to just stick it in the oven, and we'll be right back after we get it out of the oven, about 40-45 minutes.
Okay, and then you can go ahead and stick it in the oven. I'll just kind of let our family know what we're doing next. So guys, while she is doing that, we are going to be going into conversation next. That's what we're doing next. And so while this is cooking for 45 minutes, hopefully the conversation doesn't take that long, but we do have a topic for today. And topic for today is, I'm not even sure if I'm in frame or not, y'all. So forgive me if I wasn't, but I think I'm now low enough now. The topic for today is going to be, as we grow older, what is it like aging? You know, our bodies do what they do. They fail us. They fail us. We start to decline. Some of us gracefully, we age. Some of us not so gracefully. So Smooch and I, in the time frame that she already told you guys, this thing is going to be cooking. We're going to go into that and have that conversation. So stay tuned and keep watching. All right, guys. Hi. So we're back, and with us being back, we're going to do this, I don't know, podcast style type. It's our first Cooking Up Conversations channel. I keep saying channel. This is our very first Cooking Up Conversations video. So what we're going to do is, the frame is just going to kind of be on me, but you all know Smooch is in the house. She's in the building tonight. You've already seen her go over there and like manhandle that spaghetti squash, right? So we're going to move into the conversation. She's sitting here to the right of me. And we're just going to go into the topic, and you should be able to hear her speaking, and we're going to knock this conversation out. So again, our topic is on how we handle aging. How difficult, how easy, how do we manage it, how do we navigate life as we grow older, and we move into growing older with ailments, sicknesses, you know, having to do more doctor visits and whatnot. So one of the things I want to tap into is 2020 was a huge year for the world. We're not even talking about COVID today, but that's why it was huge for most of the world. During that time, I also battled a lot of different illnesses. And so the reason that we chose this to be a first topic, because Smooch is my right-hand girl. Not my right-hand man, she's my right-hand girl. And she was with me by my bedside, in-house and hospital. So she navigated that whole ordeal with me. And so we thought it would be a good first topic for us. It's personal to us both. So how did you feel, Smooch, when I was going through all of those medical things that we didn't know what was going on, and we were just in and out of the hospital, making trips, blood work and all that? How did you handle that?
At first, I handled it with ease at first, because I understood my assignment. Even though it was my first assignment with you, it was not difficult to stand there and be that support, to be those ears for the doctors when they were speaking to you. Because we all know that when we're going through medical things, it's almost like our ears shut off because we're scared.
Absolutely. And
we really don't always quite understand what's going on. So it was good that I was able to stand there and take in that information and relay it back to you, where you would be understanding of what was going on with yourself.
Absolutely.
And it helped the fact that I have a little bit of a medical background as well.
A little bit, a lot of it.
Well, okay.
16 years at least.
16 years
medical.
And so it was challenging, because
very.
As long as we've been in each other's life,
13 years this year.
13 years, you don't always think about when you first meet someone if you're going to be around the latter part of their life.
Absolutely.
Or actually, age does not.
It don't come into play. It doesn't come into factor.
No, and also, as we all know, when medical things happen with our bodies, that age thing is irrelevant. It really is, because you can be 20, you could be 10, you could be 40, you could be 50, whatever. But I understood my assignment. I'll be the first to say that with everything that was going on, I didn't have time to stop and this is not going to be, hopefully this doesn't sound the wrong way. I didn't have time to stop and get too wrapped up in my emotions and my feelings, what was going on with you, because I know I needed to be all those things that you were not able to be for yourself.
Absolutely. I think our family, you know, I always tell you, because I do most of my videos alone, but she knows that I refer to everybody watching, mainly our subscribers, as family. And so I always say that to the family. I always say that. And I think they understand you can't get caught up in like your emotions about stuff when you have to put on, as you say, switch hats or put on the strong arm or whatever. You have to. And so I don't think anybody will take that the wrong way. I don't think anybody will take that wrong. You have to, because you have to be, I'm sure, you know, unfortunately, most of us have dealt with death. You have to be somebody in the family, matriarch. Somebody has to be strong for everybody else. So that's kind of what you probably dealt with, having to be strong so I wouldn't freak out. It was tough.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing, I mean, I had my moment. I had my breaking down moment that. Because it was one of those things that when you said, I need to go to the doctor, the hospital, I'm like, it's serious. Yeah. It was serious.
So let's talk about that. Let's go back some, so that they're brought up to speed. I don't want to keep you guys too much in the dark. So I'm anemic, and I've been anemic most of my life, many, many years of my life. And I just thought that was part of what was going on with me. You know, always sluggish, always lethargic. Lethargic is just very tired all the time, don't have a lot of energy. So what I battled for many years prior to even meeting Smooch was having these weird stomach issues, gastro issues. I don't know where they came from. I don't know why. But they were so sporadic and they were so far apart that I never thought it was a serious thing. I never once thought, oh my gosh, something's detrimental, you know. And so when it got serious, or more serious, Smooch used to always tell me to go to the doctor. And I'm going to be all honest and transparent, because I'm always telling the YouTube family that I'm very transparent. Like many of us, you think about finances, you think about money, you think about whether you have insurance or not, and how much an emergency room or urgent care or hospital visit is going to be. I was that chick. Y'all know me by now. I was like, no, I ain't about to die. I don't feel like I'm about to die. I ain't going to the hospital. That was my argument with her all the time. So you have any idea or recall how often you used to tell me?
All the time, because I'm thinking like it's about time to start going to the doctor and find out what's really going on, because all your issues are starting to be too frequent,
too serious.
Often. Yes, and so I'm like,
so you're absolutely right. Things did get serious. Things got, you know, a lot worse. So as I mentioned, 2020 just was kind of crazy, and that's where things, the episodes that I was going through just got closer. The incidents, the episodes, they were just like kind of like labor pains. How far, how close are they? They get closer, come on in. That's kind of what we did. So we had an incident where it was anywhere from 4 to 6 hours I would be in pain, excruciating pain, sickness. Then it would be 8 to 10 hours. And I think the first time we actually, you know, went in was about a 12-hour episode of me just being sick. And again, y'all know I'm very transparent, but I'll keep it kind of clean. When I say being sick, like in every way imaginable, you know, we're trying to keep it clean here, that's what was going on. And it went on for about 12 hours. So as Smooch was saying, you know, she told me before, like, let's wrap up, it's time to go. And I'm like, nah, she knew she couldn't make me go, and I didn't. And so this particular time, it was pretty bad. Excruciating pain, sick in multiple ways. And I went to her and said, I need to go to the ER. And do you remember that particular episode and what that was like for you?
Yes, I remember that episode, and it was, for me, I'm like, okay, yes, finally, she wants to go to the ER. That was my thought in my head at the same time, trying to still emotionally keep it together, because not knowing what we were going to find out and what was going to take place once we did get to the emergency room. And when we got there, it was serious. When we got there, because there was so much more going on than what we knew.
And it was, you know, as she mentioned earlier, you know, she tried to skip to the worst case scenario, the one we're going to talk about here in a moment. But that particular one, we found out I had ulcers. So if you know anything about ulcers, then you know. But ulcers, you know, it's tricky, and it makes you just start doing you have to monitor what you eat, how you eat.
Stress, keeping your stress
down.
Oh yeah,
keeping stress level down. Even in the hospital, you know, they just kept putting me on soft foods, and so that became my lifestyle. I began to only eat jellos and ice creams and ensures and soups. Like in my brain, I was terrified to eat. And I had to focus on eating things that I felt like my gut would easily digest and break down. So any of you that know anyone who suffers with it, or unfortunately if you deal with it yourself, Crohn's disease, IBS, gastritis, all of those things are very closely related.
Diverticulitis.
Yes, and so the symptoms are very related. And if you know, it's so mental. You literally look at food and you're terrified to eat it, because your episodes of sickness that happens typically happen after you eat and not immediately. You know, I wish it was I'm eating and I feel weird and I know to shut it off and stop. You have a whole meal, slam that meal down the back of your throat, family, and it's going to feel good. And you don't know anything about sickness until 4-6 hours later. It's horrible.
To start breaking and digesting that food down.
And when you realize that, you just kind of stop eating, because you know, right now it feels good and it tastes good, but I could possibly be sick hours later, so you just don't want to eat. And again, I tease Smooch all the time, y'all, about being doctor. I call her doctor all the time. She's been in the medical field for many, many years. She knows a lot. So the tease is a tease, but she knows a lot.
But I'm not a doctor, nor am I a nurse.
She's not a doctor. She's not a nurse. But she taught me a lot. And so with that, I learned a lot of what I needed to do also with my body during the gastritis episode. And I think I mentioned I took omeprazole, other medications. Some worked, some didn't work. We did a couple of trial and errors with a few different medications. But the medicine for me was just not eat. And so I mentioned that you guys never really know my body type, my frame, because I'm always sitting in a chair. But I've lost a lot of weight, tremendous amount of weight. I'm terrified to eat still. I don't know if the incident lays dormant at some point, and if anybody who don't know exactly what that means, just kind of give your body a rest, or give your system or give you a rest. It's just, you may have a disease or an illness, and it doesn't bother you for years, months, weeks. Then it comes back. So the dormant is just, it lays rest. It's not triggering, it's not bothering you. So we went through that. So then the next episode, which was the one you tried to jump into a little early, when Smooch mentions trying to keep her emotions under wraps, she did. But I can tell y'all right now, baby, family, this last one, yeah, she had a breakdown. I'll let her tell you more about it. She had a breakdown to her family about it, because we didn't know if I was going to make it or not. And I hate to say that, because it sounds like, oh, did you get a bullet to the brain? You know, were you in the hospital in the coma because you got shot up? It really wasn't that serious, but it was that serious. So I'll tell you what happened. I'll let her tell you the after effects. So again, during this time of realizing I had ulcers and being very strategic, I tried to eat healthier. Apples, oranges, bananas, and then again, soft foods and liquids. The funny thing about whatever it is, let me just go ahead and say, to this day, I don't have a diagnosis. We think it's IBS. We think.
So we don't know if it's IBS.
C or D or C, whatever they are. Yeah. But what happened was, one morning I had to get up. I worked from home. I was going to go to work. And I said, I'm not really hungry. I'm just going to have an apple. Y'all always know, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a takeaway in every video, right? Let me tell you the takeaway of this video. I ate an apple because I thought it was healthy. It's easy. I'm not hungry. I don't want to feel full. And I'm shoot on downstairs and go to work. Baby, when I tell you, don't have gastritis, ulcers, or anything else, and eat an apple. So I ate this apple, again, thinking it's healthy, didn't want anything heavy to go to work. I'll eat a heavy or something at lunch, maybe a soup. Went to work, and I had to get out of work early. Stomach started acting crazy, and I'm like, well, baby, I didn't even eat food, because from eating the apple, I started feeling weird hours later. Couldn't take it, got off work. I'll make the story as fast as possible. Got off work. And it just continued to get worse. Just all my female family members, y'all know what labor pains feel like. Menstrual cramps. We know what those feminine pains feel like. All of those is what I was going through. It's what it felt like. And at some point, we went to the hospital this time. Again, I'm back in the emergency room and got admitted because they're running all these tests and trying to figure it out. And when we did the assessments and the conversations and what did you eat and what did you do, and I'm telling them an apple, I don't even think the hospital helped us out. Wasn't it me Googling it and finding out about the apple?
No, actually, it was after you was that sick and we went to the doctor's office. Remember, they got you in to see an emergency appointment. And that's when the doctor said to you about apples. It was at the doctor's office. We weren't in the hospital.
I thought I Googled it and said
after
Look
the
at
fact.
what yeah, maybe that's what it was. But at either rate, at some point I did Google. And so again, the takeaway in this video, you know, I always have a takeaway at the end. I'm gonna give you this one in the middle because it's very important to know if you have any type of stomach issues. I would have never thought, and I definitely didn't know, apples are acidic. Certain apples. So let me be very clear in my information. We don't claim to be giving any health or, you know, medical advice to people, but I'm telling you my experience, what I learned and what I figured out. Certain apples can be very acidic. Pay attention. So the analogy I like to give you all is if you have an open sore, an open wound, you scrape your knee on something, then you put alcohol on it. We all know what that's going to feel like, right, family? It ain't going to feel good at all. And so that's what happens inside of my body. I ate this apple thinking it's healthy, it's good. I have ulcers. So I have an open sore. The analogy, remember, scraping your hand, your knee, and then putting alcohol on it. So I got this open sore in my gut. And then I go eat an apple that was acidic. So I'm pouring acidic apple on top of a sore on my stomach. And baby, it sent me. Okay, family, it sent me. And so we found out in that, again, we had to run tests and do things. And my doctor decided that he wanted to do some more tedious testing, some more strenuous, some more strategic testing. And I think that's when we started to get into the other thing, because he set up to do, was it another, oh, it was you know, the medical terminology.
No, this was going to be the second colonoscopy because they wanted to go back in and get a look to see what else was what else was going on.
Right, and so because the episodes weren't going away of being sick.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's when they then also did the endoscopy and the colonoscopy.
Right.
Pretty much, I think all in the same.
I had a lot of testing.
Yes, I want to say like in the same day they did the colonoscopy and the endoscopy.
So to wrap this up, because it's 2020 and 2021 was horrific for me. I was in and out of ERs, emergency rooms. I had 2 hospital stays for like up to a week, whatever. So this is what happened. My doctor had scheduled a test for me. And so while I'm sitting there, I had started going through something else that's not even gastro related, right? So what happened was I was telling Smooch like, hey, I'm feeling lightheaded and dizzy. And I don't know what's going on. And I'm short of breath and all these different things. And it was very like my stomach issue years ago. It didn't seem serious. It was, you know, very minute and here and there. And I'm like, I'm out of breath, and I get out the shower, and I'm trying to make the bed, and I'm out of breath, or whatever. And so I went to dinner one day, went to the doctor, and we were talking about this testing. I asked him, I said, well, while we're going to test, can you check my blood and everything? Because do some blood work and check it. And he just kind of like, no. And I was like, but you're a doctor. You know, he's gastro, whatever. So then we're leaving the doctor's office, and I'm telling him, I called his office, I said, I'm not going to do this testing unless I can get a makeup of blood work. I need to know why I'm feeling lightheaded and faint. I feel like I'm going to pass out. So mentally I'm thinking I'm not going to let anybody take me under when I already feel like I can't breathe. You're not going to do anesthesia on me and I don't feel at my healthiest. So I think it was just miscommunication. They called me back later and was like, oh yeah, well he wants to order blood work for you. I'm like, because of the testing. I'm thinking, right, so I don't know why he said no when I asked. Either way, fast forward. We get the blood work and we meet up with Smooch's sister one day. Went to Longhorn for dinner, guys, and I'm telling them, hey, this lightheaded thing, if it continues by Saturday, I'm gonna have a bad pack, and y'all need to drive me to the ER. And I told them we're gonna have to go to the hospital. I can't keep doing this.